Rogers TV.
Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on this wet and slippery Friday. Let me just start off by saying be careful out there, okay? Just be careful out there, whether you're walking, driving, cycling, doesn't matter what it is. It is a little bit slippery out there. Got a great show for you. As we go into the weekend, we're talking some real estate. We're talking about entrepreneurship on the show today. The Ottawa Humane Society is on the show. Peter Atkinson, the son of the legendary radio broadcaster Gord Atkinson, on the show today to talk about his fantastic book. We're going to share some wonderful stories on the show today. We've got all that more, but we start off here in the kitchen. A first-time guest here on Daytime Ottawa. Chelsea Campbell is the owner of Sweet Tooth Confections. Welcome to the show. Great to have you. Is this your first time on television?
It is.
Oh, we have a first-timer. I love it. Your husband's here with, I would imagine, your newest addition to the family, right?
Addition,
Tell me a little bit about yourself and your family.
Yeah, so obviously Chelsea. I have 3 beautiful daughters, 5, 18 months, and 3 months.
So you're a little busy.
We're a little busy,
yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I'm a registered massage therapist by trade.
Okay.
Obviously taking some time off right now to raise the girls, and yeah, just started my little side baking business. So
nice.
So
a little side baking business that my understanding that's kind of exploded for you. But
yeah.
Tell me about, was this something you always did growing up, or where did baking come into your life?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 5 kids.
Okay.
So
another busy family.
Another busy family.
Goodness.
So I've always been in the kitchen with my parents, baking, cooking, learning everything. So baking has always been, a fun passion of mine. So about a year and a half ago, I decided, hey, why not try and, make something of it.
Nice. Good for you. Good for you. It's interesting from generation to generation because, and I know doesn't hold true for everybody from my mom's generation, but my mom was kind of, in the kitchen, is like, get out of the kitchen. Like, there were the 3 of us, just get out of the kitchen and let me do my thing kind of thing. And then I think that's how even houses are built today, right? Where it's that open concept and everyone's in the kitchen now and families are baking together. In the old days, like my mom's kitchen was her kitchen, right? She didn't want anyone to see the mess.
Yeah.
Where you're like, kids, come on in, let's get messy together.
Yeah.
So you started this business. Your shortbread cookies, from my understanding, was kind of the big name to start things off,
so
right?
This is a family recipe that's been passed down.
Okay.
So my mom will probably take all the claim for it.
As she should.
As she should,
Did you put your own unique little twist on it, or
I have a couple little things that I do to tweak it a little bit, but it's pretty straightforward as it's been written, passed down. But yeah, the shortbread cookies are the thing that really, kick-started it for me. Everyone really likes them, and a few people told me, like, you gotta try and sell these. So I said, why not? So yeah, the shortbread cookies are my go-to big seller.
Right on, and that, of course that feels good. These are some of them over here too, right? These are the decorated ones, right?
With Valentine's Day coming up, which shows some of the ones that I have a Valentine's Day cookie box that you can purchase.
Okay.
And so these are some of the decorated ones that you'll see in the box.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're going to decorate some together here today.
Got a couple for you to decorate.
All right.
Here.
For me to do.
For you to decorate.
You're the professional.
Yeah. Well, I figured, you can practice a little bit.
Let me just close-up. Let me just show you a couple of these beautifully decorated cookies.
So they're all hand done. There's no stencils or anything used.
Nice.
It's all,
All right. You're the teacher, so you start off and show me what I should be doing, and then I will follow in your footsteps.
It's pretty easy. It's kind of like painting.
Okay.
So we've got our blank cookies here. We've got our piping bag. So you just want to very gently squeeze it so a little bit of the icing comes out, and then you just you can do whatever design you want. The icing's not going to really go anywhere, just the consistency.
And I guess room temperature is probably the key, is that right, to the icing?
I mean, it really depends on the environment and how you mix the icing.
Right.
And it can be a little bit thinner to a little bit runnier, so if you're doing like a bigger space, or you can be a little bit more stable like this, where it's not going to move, and you can do, fine lettering or things like that on it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
This sort of kicked things off, but your latest that could become the fan favorite you brought along with you here. Tell me about this This is the cookie pie?
The cookie pie.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is actually an idea of my husband's. We kind of experienced, very smart.
Yeah.
We experienced something similar to it at a local market a few years ago, and he said, Chelsea, like, you got to try and make one of these. So this is my spin on what we had eaten. So I call it the cookie pie. It's really thick and
no kidding.
Sweet,
That's
honestly.
like a deep dish chocolate chip cookie action going on
I'll
there.
just lift it up and show it. It's a little messy just because of the chocolate, but so it's cookie fully outside, my chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Okay.
On the inside, you can fill it with whatever you like. So this one has a full layer of Nutella, and then we have Lindt chocolate stuffed in there as well.
Gosh.
You can really put any kind of chocolate that you want in there. You can use a white ganache, you can use a regular chocolate ganache, but the Nutella sits really nicely. Yeah, and it's slowly becoming a favorite. It's really good with cold, room temperature, warmed up, even with some vanilla ice cream on it.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's really sweet, but I mean, you can try a piece if you'd like.
I will try
I've got
a piece. I just don't want to do it, live. Maybe near the end of the segment as I go to break, I can mumble myself.
Yeah.
So we're seeing some of the other products that you offer here on the screen. So walk us through some of the other things that you've been offering to your clients these days.
Yeah, so I do, weddings, birthday parties, events, anything kind of, you name it.
Okay.
So I have cupcakes. I've done cupcakes for weddings, lots of different birthday cakes, cookies, brownies, whatever kind of simple but delicious desserts
All right,
is what I kind of go through.
Let me try my hand here at some decorating.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm thinking I want to try the love you did there. I don't know if it's going to come out nearly as well.
Yeah, the spacing is the hardest to try and figure out, but that looks really good. For a first try, that's really nice.
I'm actually shocked. Okay,
That's great.
So when you're looking at sort of customizing something for a client, like how far in advance should somebody be contacting you?
If there's specialty or custom things, so like a wedding, I would
probably months.
I would say months in advance, just because the bigger the order, the longer I need to, make and decorate. I'm a one-woman show, so I don't have a lot of people working for me.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right?
Maybe someday.
Now, has this inspired you? I mean, obviously, as a registered massage therapist, I'm sure that's the future you're looking at going back to. But has this inspired you to maybe look at it?
Yeah, you know what?
Or keep it as a side gig, I guess, too. Right?
Yeah, right now it's a great side gig, but if there's opportunity to pivot, who knows, right? I'm always open to things like that. So.
How much time we have here? 1 minute? Okay, let me try just adding a little something here. Tell everybody at home as I massacre your beautiful cookies here, how they can get in touch with you, and I imagine you're on social media as well, Chelsea?
So that's probably the easiest and best way to contact me, Facebook and Instagram, just because you can view all my work there and then kind of send me a screenshot or say, hey, I want this kind of cake or these kind of cupcakes. I also have an email that you can reach me at as well. And yeah, that's probably the best way.
Do you do themes too? Like if somebody said, hey, my kid loves, I don't know, Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Again, everything's done.
Not putting any pressure on you here.
No, that's okay. Everything's done again by hand, so it'll vary what you want. But yeah, I've done like a 5-year-old's pirate-themed birthday party.
Nice.
I've done unicorn themes. So
wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for this. Okay, I'm doing it. I'm reaching over as we go to break. You can email Chelsea as well, by the way. You can contact her at chelsea.sweettooth@gmail.com. We'll be back. What more? After that.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
The regulars, the guys who keep this place in business. Last week, they had something to celebrate. Jason had just finished university. So they toasted his profs, his TAs, his old roommates. Well, they toasted just about everyone. But I worry about and take care of my guys. So even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Boom, 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 boom. 20 bucks. 20 bucks. Hi guys, it's Maggie, Mrs. Calabash and Derek. And whoa, we're back. Rogers Television, so please watch us on Rogers Television. We've just done our first show. It was anytime shrimp special and an Asian salad. So please remember, Rogers Television, Mrs. Calabash cooks. I'll see you guys.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade. I hope you join us here every single week on An Hour to Give. We're going to talk about community, philanthropy, and volunteerism. It's airing right here on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome back to the show, back with the Ottawa Humane Society again on the show today. We love having them come on. They always have new, unique things that are happening, and they have some great seminars coming up. If your dog is perhaps, or even cat, going through some stress and anxiety, it is the place to go. Joining us to tell us more about it, I'm joined by Kristen Brooker. She is the Outreach Coordinator over at the Ottawa Humane Society, and Chase the dog makes his return to the show. How are you, Kristen?
I'm good,
excellent,
thank you.
excellent.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your role as an outreach coordinator. Tell me a little bit about what you do over there at OHS.
Yeah, so I'm part of the outreach department, and our job is to get out in the community, connect with people in the community. We do a lot of education about pet ownership, dog safety, kind of just making sure that we're, welcoming everyone in our community and letting them know that we're a resource that they can turn to.
Right. Yeah, and speaking of dog safety, I mentioned the weather off the top of the show. I know it's not cold today, but we're seeing a lot of salt probably putting on the roads and that sort of thing. What should we be thinking about around this time of year with our pets?
Yeah, it's definitely something to consider too, and especially with the changes in weather, the drastic changes, that can impact some pets. And for sure, the salt can be troublesome for some pets. Some people opt for boots to protect against the salt. There's also some kind of wax products that can help. Different things work for different pets, but it's definitely something to keep in mind if you're noticing that your pet is lifting their paws or things like that. It might be something that's going on. So
I mentioned you put on seminars, you do workshops throughout the year. This is something I think that's unique that you're doing in this stress and anxiety, kind of the essentials we're calling it, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So obviously humans experience stress and anxiety, and it's something that we talk about a lot. And if you own a pet or you've been around animals, you know that they, have the full gamut of emotions too, and they also experience stress, fear, anxiety. And for our pets, they do so much to make us happy. I think a lot of pet owners, they want to do what they can to keep their pets happy. So this seminar is all about providing the really sort of up-to-date, evidence-based information, and we've got a really, really great panel of experts that are going to share practical information about how pet owners can understand their pet's anxiety and what kinds of things they can do to help them.
I'm guessing Chase doesn't have a lot of that anxiety.
Yeah, he's not the poster boy for anxious.
What is Chase's story for those that don't know?
So Chase is a 3-year-old German Shepherd mix. He is a volunteer dog for the Ottawa Humane Society. So he's been on the show a few times, kind of. He gets out in the community. He helps with education and sort of, because he's so friendly and doesn't get anxious about anything, he loves to go out there and meet people.
He's become an ambassador, really, right, of the Ottawa Humane Society. I want to go back to the seminars because there's different titles. So there's three as part of this series series that they're doing. And the first one is Pause and Reflect. Very nice play on words, by the way. Unraveling the language of stress in pets. And are we talking about the body language, or
yeah,
what are we referring to there?
It's all about how pets communicate their stress to us, how pet owners can be aware of signals of stress that are coming from their pets, because sometimes they can be quite subtle.
Really, eh?
And it can be easy to miss. And so this is really providing kind of an in-depth sort of dive into how they show this stress. And then also, once we know what's going on, how do we help them?
Right. Can you give us can you give us a couple of examples of what some of those subtle sort of signs might be?
Absolutely. So for dogs, for example, one of the things that they will do is yawn. Repetitive yawning. You know, if they wake up from a nap, they might give a yawn. But if they're in a different situation and they start yawning repetitively, this is a sign that they might be experiencing some stress. Okay. The other one is licking lips. If they're unsure about something, maybe a little bit nervous, they may repeatedly lick their lips. So those are kind of subtle signs. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're in a state of extreme stress, and those are often good warning signs that, okay, whatever situation is going on has got them feeling a little bit uncomfortable.
Right, I mentioned licking, that excessive licking, because I think most people assume that maybe their pet, you know, has something that's bothering them, right, on a paw or another part of the body. I've known friends, and I've had, you know, my own pets, that it's almost a habit.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of stress and anxiety?
Absolutely. There
Really?
are some sort of compulsive behaviors like that you can see in pets that are related to stress. And it's sort of the way it is with humans, where often these physical and emotional and sort of mental things are all intertwined in a lot of ways. So it does get a little bit into the science of it, but our panelists are really great speakers and able to lay out that information in a way that's really understandable and useful for the pet owners.
Another one of the seminar topics is anxiety, the whole story. I think that pretty much describes it well, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's all about the roots of anxiety. Where is this coming from? It touches a little bit on the sort of biological factors of what is going on for your pet. So yeah, it's a really good understanding of the whole story.
The last one, and I spoke to you about my Maltese, and I really think it has some type of separation anxiety, because every time we literally start slowing down the car to a stop when we're going somewhere, whether it's a place that's familiar or unfamiliar, he just starts almost screaming in the car until we open that door, and then he's okay. Right. So I mean, that's obviously a sign of separation anxiety. So your last one is leaving with love, navigating separation anxiety in dogs. I imagine I'm not unique to this experience with a pet, right?
No, separation anxiety is unfortunately quite common. We see a lot of people that are struggling with this, and it's a tough one to deal with. So our expert Chantel Mills is going to be really talking about the facts and the myths associated with separation anxiety. It's a tough one, and especially after the pandemic and people are going back into work when previously they were home, and that can be tough on a lot of dogs. So
no kidding, for sure. Nice thing is these are webinars, right? So you don't even have to leave home. You get in the comfort of your home. Exactly. How do people sign up? All three are coming up in March, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So they can sign up on our website. There's a discount for the package of all three, and there's also an early bird discount. So I definitely would suggest checking out our website, and all the information is on there on how to sign up.
Excellent. Great to have you here, Kristen. And Chase, thank you. Thank you. Well behaved as usual. As I go to break here, I'll remind you, Anxiety and Pets, the Essentials. It's March 13th, 20th, and 27th. Those are all Wednesdays, by the way, at 6 p.m. You can sign up, of course, at ottawahumane.ca. We'll be back with more Daytime right after this. Great.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, he may not get the help he needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Leonard Thompson. 13 years old, diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds. Starve the child to let them live? The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Dr. Banting, this could be it. He's the first to receive this trial. But will it save him?
It's not pure enough. So we try again. And again. And again.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence. Banting, Best, Collip, and McLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives. Leonard Thompson's was the first.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. We are back to talk about one of the best events that the city has each and every year. It is the Snowball, and this year it is called A Cool Winter's Eve, and of course raising funds for a great cause, and that is the Snowsuit Fund. I'm joined by the Vice Chair of the Snowsuit Fund, Martin Mass. Welcome. Great to have you here, Martin.
Thanks for having us.
Martin, I think it's pretty obvious why anyone would want to get involved with such a wonderful organization, but tell me, what was your connection and to coming over to the Snowsuit Fund?
Well, I had some friends who had been involved in the past and some that were on the board. It was always something that I'd been to events. It was always something that attracted me. I grew up in the city. The Snowsuit Fund's been around for 42 years. Hard not to know about it.
Yeah.
And it's such a concrete thing, right? You're giving kids snowsuits so that they can enjoy the winter, and it's like such a Ottawa thing to want to do that and to help kids enjoy the winter.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, footage, and I've been in the facility when, a parent and their child comes to pick up a snowsuit, and, we take it for granted, but what a magical moment it is for that child and that family.
It is, and as a board member, as much as I enjoy the, board meetings and the behind the scenes stuff, the day that we get to go and volunteer is probably the best day of the year.
Yeah.
Not just as someone who's working for the Snowsuit Fund, but really for just as a human being to be there and to see the immediate reaction that people have when the kids get a snowsuit. If they come in, they get to choose them. It's just such a wonderful
Yeah, and we should remind people too, this is a brand new snowsuit.
Right.
The nice thing is, you've got a partnership that allows you, to buy these, purchase these snowsuits at a great price.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a lot of great suppliers who help us. Giant Tiger has been really helpful in that regard, and so local community and partnerships and suppliers have been great. We try to get our snowsuits in for about $50 a piece, give or take, and so the good thing is when you're giving, that $50 gets a snowsuit, and it's an easy formula. So that's it's been great that we've been able to do it and keep it in and around $50 in terms of our cost.
Fortunate that we have it. Unfortunately, the need continues to grow. What are we looking at as far as how many snowsuits do we hand out this season? Would you say?
Well, we exceed 16,000 is sort of where we think we are at approximately. Okay. And I remember I did an event just before Christmas, and we had exceeded 16,000.
Wow.
And we were seeing people come in January, which is a bit unusual. I think it was maybe because of the weather, but also because the demand just keeps coming. People are arriving in Ottawa. They don't have snowsuits. If they're refugee families, new Canadians who don't have snowsuits. So we were getting 30, 40 families coming in January, which is unusual. So I don't have the final numbers. I know it's over 16,000, and that's one of the biggest years we've had in decades.
Yeah, and you mentioned, an event before the holidays. You have events throughout the year, but the Snowball, this is the signature event. Tell us about the Snowball this year.
Yeah, so the Snowball this year is February 28th. It's at a joint space at the Ottawa Art Gallery and Arts Court, and it runs from 6 to 10 p.m. And it's not, in the past we've had galas. This is more of a cocktail reception, walk around, have fun, and it really is a really fun evening. It's a Wednesday night. Great opportunity to get out. We're going to have 7 chefs stations throughout with samplings of food of some of the best Ottawa restaurants. We've got 7 bars around the city, so people can sample local producers, breweries, wineries, distillers, cocktail makers from around the city. We've got 2 live bands, jazz beats, and a really fun sort of British pop band called The Start. And
I know who they are.
Yeah, they're great. So they were there last year.
Yeah.
The crowd was dancing, which is not always the case, but dancing for long periods of time is a lot of fun. And we're actually also going to have 3 artists who are going to be making art on the premises, and those will be available for auction or for people to purchase.
Yeah, my wife and I went last year. Band was great, and I just love this idea of it's a networking style, right? Where it's you want to get back out and see friends and colleagues you haven't seen in a long time. This is the way to do it. I mean, it's the perfect occasion. Yeah. You also have a silent auction that actually is online, right? This year, kicking off February 1st.
That's
my
right. I do want to mention though we will have a special guest. So just sorry,
all right.
The Andlauer family have been very supportive. Excellent. And as has been the Senators Community Foundation, and so we understand that Lucy and members of the family will be there, and maybe some other special guests. We'll wait and see.
I'm not surprised. I think I think the Andlauer family coming here to Ottawa, they haven't had a misstep. They've done everything. They're just seem like Michael. Is just an amazing person, not just our owner, right, but also amazing community person, and he's dove right in. So we've got that online auction, of course, sends ticket, you name it, everything's available, baskets and spas and restaurants and all that great stuff.
Over 100 articles that are items that are available. You don't have to attend. If you go to our website, snowsuitfund.com, it'll be live as of February 1st, and that's also where you can get our tickets. So tickets are available. They're $200 after January 28th, but now there's an early bird special for $175 per person.
Yeah. And of course, the big live auction will be happening. You have a few items there available as well the night of, right?
That's right. We've got Sandra Plagakis from Kiss.
From Kiss,
from Kiss FN, who will be emceeing it, and we've got 5 special items that'll be there for live. Those you have to be there.
Yeah,
for.
absolutely, Martin. A real pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, Snowball, Wednesday, February 28th. Don't forget about those early bird tickets. Ottawa Art Gallery, Arts Court, 6 to 10 p.m. Snowsuitfund.com for more information, your tickets, and your silent auction. We'll be back after this.
Today, I helped a parent feed their family by connecting them to a food program.
Today, I helped someone connect with mental health supports.
Today, I helped a couple struggling to pay their bills access financial aid.
Every day, 211 navigators connect Canadians to critical government and community programs and services.
211. Help starts here.
Join us for the new season of Ottawa Storytellers, right here on Rogers TV.
I still remember the games. The laughter, the footsteps through the hallway. I'll never forget the challenges.
Every day I come back from work, it's always like this. We're yelling in front of the kids.
I'll never forget the help we needed. How far we've come.
Watch Podium exclusively on Rogers TV.
Unbelievable. You just never see that. What a shot.
The OHL on Rogers TV. Welcome back to the show. I can guarantee you I could probably have spent the entire show talking to my next guest because his father, Gord Atkinson, just a legendary radio broadcaster here in Ottawa, was responsible for talking and then befriending the greatest in rock and roll history from the early 1950s right through to the 60s. Peter Atkinson, his son, and author of this fabulous book called Gord Atkinson, Ottawa's Oldest Teenager. Peter, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Derek, very much for having me on the show.
The oldest teenager, I mean, that's an interesting one because that's what your dad referred to himself as, right? And he probably remained that feeling in himself, right, until he passed away at the age of 94. Tell me about, even growing up with your dad, having met all these incredible celebrities, Peter.
Well, I guess what I would say, really, growing up, I was very young during this era, the 50s and 60s, which is the focus of the book. I didn't really know he was a celebrity.
Really? Yeah.
And he would bring home people to our house, people like Paul Anka, and I didn't know they were celebrities. I'd call him Uncle Paul. And I didn't know he was any more important than another fellow down the street who also sang, but it was a different childhood, I guess. And there were certainly flashes of time where his celebrity, was made aware to me.
Yeah, and an interesting period because, as I said, this is really the early stages of rock and roll. Your dad's on radio with Campus Corner, and then some of these celebrities started coming to the city of Ottawa, and I think a lot of people might be surprised, young people that are aware of Elvis Presley, but not probably aware that he performed here in Ottawa. That must have been an incredible meeting for your father.
It was, and a great story because Elvis Presley only performed outside of the continental United States 3 times in his entire career. Vancouver, in Toronto on April 2nd, 1957, and then here in Ottawa. He did 2 shows on April 3rd, 1957. And about a week before he came to Ottawa, his management team came up early to scout the area, and they approached my father and asked him if he would introduce Elvis on stage. So it was a great moment for my dad because he got to not only talk to Elvis and interview him, an interview that still survives to this day, but also get to know him in a way that I think few people got to know him. Elvis was only 22 years of age. His song, All Shook Up, had just become a big hit. And I think in summary of that day that he performed here in Ottawa, my father said, it was the day Ottawa was all shook up.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can imagine. And another one that stands out to me, and of course that Ottawa connection is obvious, but Rich Little, and they remained friends for life, didn't they?
Rich Little was perhaps my father's greatest friend, both from the world of entertainment and outside the world of entertainment. They were great buddies. They shared a lot in common, an interest in bygone era of Hollywood and movies and music. And he started, really, his entertainment career on my father's show, Campus Corner, and as well on the campus hops that my father would MC all around the city in the late 50s. And that's really where Rich got his start. My father gave him his first job in entertainment. He convinced the people at CFRA to hire Rich as a late-night host for a show. He thought he'd be great because if he didn't get great guests on it, he could imitate them and pretend.
Yeah, of course he could. Absolutely. You mentioned Paul Anka. I imagine, that was an important meeting for your dad, too. Again, that Ottawa connection, right?
Yes, it's a great story as well. My father first met Paul Anka when Paul was about 12 years of age. My father came to Ottawa in 1954 from Toronto, and he used to go to the Laconda restaurant owned by Paul's parents.
Okay.
And he would go there quite frequently because it was kind of the hangout spot for journalists at the time. And Paul would run around, as my father would describe it, annoying him. I've got a little song here I've written and this sort of thing. And then Paul's father, Andy Anka, approached my father and said, look, I don't know how to help my son get into entertainment, but he's really interested and seems to have a real talent for it. And my father said, I'd be happy to help him. Brought him on his radio show Campus Corner with his trio at the time called the Bobby Soxers.
Right.
And Paul was only 14, 15 years of age. I mean, it's an incredible story.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And from there, he blossomed. He went down to New York and recorded Diana. It was released on May 1957, and he rushed back to Ottawa to present my father with one of the first pressed recordings of that song, which of course went on to sell millions of copies and launched his career.
I'm just flipping through the book as you were talking here, and there's another great famous crooner, right? Tony Bennett. He had the chance to meet as well, and I mean these stories is just one after another in this book, right, Peter?
Yes, I think part of the book, the first part, tries to explore the pre-rock and roll era in Ottawa, and Tony Bennett had a long association with Ottawa. He first performed here in the late 1950s. Back then, in the pre-rock and roll era, the mid-50s, all the entertainment was on the other side of the river,
right,
on the Lower Elmer Road, at the big dance halls such as the Chaudière Rose Room and the Gatineau Club. And Tony Bennett performed there almost every year. And that's where my father first met him. Okay. And then he met him several more times later in his career when he became a huge star. Met him in Las Vegas and here in Ottawa when he performed at the National Arts Center.
I've got a minute left. Out of all the stories, from your father, what's one that stood out to you the most, would you say?
That's hard to say.
A difficult question, yeah.
I would say one of the funniest stories he told me was from the mid-1960s during the British invasion of rock and roll, the first British invasion. He met Peter Noone, who was the lead singer of Herman's Hermits from Manchester, England. And my father said a really interesting young man who was actually a television star in Britain before he became a singer. And he said the interview was great, but I didn't understand a single word he said to me because I could not understand his accent.
Peter, where can people pick up a copy of this great book?
It's available in Chapters, Ogilvie Road. It's also available at the Coles bookstore at Carlingwood, where it sold out a couple of times.
Wonderful.
And I would encourage people to buy a copy because I am running out.
Okay. Thank you so much for this, Peter. Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is a perfectly healthy child. What's unhealthy are birth alerts, a racist practice that may stop this Indigenous mother from going home with her newborn. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Join me, holistic chef Daniela Croco, for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. Back to tell you about another great success story. That's one of the things we love talking about here on the show is Ottawa success stories. And this is a more recent success story. I'm joined by Carmela Moreno. She is a young serial entrepreneur. You dub yourself. Welcome. Great to have you here, Carmela.
Thank you.
Your stories, you and I were just talking about your family. So your parents have been, entrepreneurs their whole life. Just tell me a little bit about your parents and their business and how, kind of inspired your life so far.
When I was 4 years old, my parents owned a photography studio, and they put me in front of a computer, and I started exploring Photoshop.
Okay.
And I mastered it before I even learned how to read properly.
Really?
So I was removing all the backgrounds for ID photos, things like that. And then my parents kind of explored other businesses as well, so they had a bakery. I started learning how to bake, and I brought those cupcakes and treats to school and started selling it during recess time.
Okay. And that was you're saying you started selling like at 6 years old, is that right?
Yes.
So that was your first foray into selling kind of for yourself, right?
Yeah, of course. I learned how to buy inventory and how to figure out profit, all those things, and save the money or invest the money. Yeah.
So let's fast forward to 2020. We're all going through a global pandemic. Your parents still have a business, and you start doing some marketing for your parents. Tell me a little bit about the marketing, type of marketing you were doing.
Yes, as a Gen Z, I wanted to help my parents because that was the age where that was a time where everybody was under social media, and it was free. So I created posters for them and captions, all those things, posted it there. And that year, we were able to do 172 weddings in 1 year. And it was almost impossible because it was a pandemic, right? But yeah, it did help them. And at the same time, I also found a big demand of mass alcohol and work from home tools like cameras and microphones. So I started selling it from 150 pesos to 300,000 in 6 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, so then you come to Ottawa in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you? It was studies that brought you here, is that right?
Yeah, I wanted to pursue business accounting.
Okay.
It's just because I want to learn the other side of the world and know more stuff here. And so I did come here. My parents only paid for my tuition fee, and I had to survive myself. And I intentionally chose that because I want to be independent.
Right.
And I worked 3 jobs, and at the same time built my company that I founded with my partner Noam. It's the Grande Decor Incorporated.
Yeah, tell me about that company, what you do there.
Yeah, so we style weddings and events. And in our first year, Amazon hired us to create the largest balloon arch for their opening.
Oh, here in Ottawa, when they opened their big space here in Ottawa.
Yeah,
wow.
And that balloon arch stayed for more than around 2 months with the Canadian weather, and that's kind of impossible for balloons to stay that long, but we were able to fulfill that. And the rest of the big brands followed, like AIG, Maserati, and we even had an event at the Parliament of Canada.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank
and then
you.
more recently, you purchased Wedding in a Box. We had them on, have had them on Daytime in the past. So you've purchased them, and you're in the midst of, I guess, relaunching, right?
Yes. My good friend Ella from RSVP Events entrusted me this brand because I was doing the same thing for my dad in the Philippines. So yeah, we're here to grow this brand, and I've done more than 400 weddings and events in my life. I know I'm young, I'm only 22 years old, but I'm super experienced, and I'm so ready to help a lot of couples here in Ottawa that don't want any stress. So Wedding in a Box is a wedding planning firm that offers all-inclusive packages to couples who don't want any stress on their wedding day. So we offer food, venue, everything that you need for your wedding.
So yeah, I mean that's the whole box idea, right? Is you're a one-stop shop where, you know, instead of having to go, you know, to one place to get the flowers and then to go to the venue and to get the band and you know food, you help couples coordinate all of that, right?
Yes, because I want them to enjoy the time they're engaged, actually get to know each other, and not worry about all the stress that they're gonna have for the wedding.
You also have an event coming, a Young Entrepreneur Society, a Yes Ottawa event.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was given I was funded by the Canada Service Corps and the Philippine Center Ottawa to conduct this youth civic engagement activity. It's a half-day workshop that will coach and mentor and educate youth from age 15 to 30 about business, transforming their ideas to business.
Right.
And I'll have with me Mary Lou, you know her.
Yes, of course, I know Mary Lou, yeah.
Honorable Richie Valdez, the Minister of Small Business Canada. Steve Cody, an entrepreneur advocate.
I know Steve as well. He is an amazing mentor for people to learn.
Absolutely.
He has done so many different businesses over his career. He's an unbelievable success story as well.
Absolutely.
Good on you getting Steve Cody. My goodness.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, you're a real go-getter, and you've been nominated as well, right? For a Faces
both of
Ottawa,
us, actually.
Faces Ottawa. Yes, I've been nominated too, but we're concentrating on you.
Okay.
Tell me about you. What have you been nominated for?
I've been nominated as Ottawa's Best Wedding Planner, and it's such an honor to have that recognition. And this is for all the clients, collaborators, and all the people who believed in me.
And people can vote on a daily basis for you, right?
Yes, please vote for me, Carmela Moreno, as Ottawa's Best Wedding Planner, and Derek Fage as well, as Ottawa's Best TV Personality on facesmags.ca.
I appreciate it. Congratulations, Carmela, on all your success so far, and I can see a bright future for you. There's no doubt about that. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. By the way, visit her website, carmelam.com. You can find out more information. Of course, you can follow her on social media as well. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Everybody knows not to drink and drive, but some people still think it's okay to take drugs and drive. Police have the authority, the ability, and the tools to determine if drivers are impaired by legal or illegal drugs. And because drug-impaired drivers can pose just as great a risk as drunk drivers, they face the same penalties, like the loss of their driver's license, a criminal record, fines, and more. A message from the RCMP, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
Hello, I'm Liz Dowdswell, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario. In 2008, carbon monoxide, a deadly invisible gas, killed an entire family in our province. That tragedy led to a new law requiring homes with potential CO sources to have alarms. John Gignac's family members passed away that day, and he shares his story to save others.
Please make sure you have working CO alarms in your home. Protect your family today.
Hi, I'm Sam LaPratte. I hope you join us here every single week on An Hour to Give. We're going to talk about community, philanthropy, and volunteerism. It's airing right here on Rogers TV.
You're watching an interesting local show on Rogers TV and you want to know more. That's when you head to rogerstv.com. Our website provides more information about our programs, our hosts, our schedule, and about how you too can get involved with Rogers TV. Visit us online at rogerstv.com.
Welcome back to the show. Real estate, it's been in the conversation forever, as you can imagine, but certainly over the last 5 years, we've been talking about it more and more in the media than I think we've ever talked about it before. Here to tell us a little bit about some of the numbers, some of the latest things that we're seeing in Ottawa's market. I'm joined by John Haddad, real estate agent with Remax Hallmark. Welcome, John. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
But yeah, before we start crunching some numbers down and looking at that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the real estate business.
Yeah, so I grew up in Ottawa. I've been in Ottawa for 16 years. I wasn't born here.
Okay.
We immigrated down from the Middle East.
Okay.
I am fluent in both Arabic and English. So yeah, I've been in Ottawa for 16 years. Went to high school here, went to elementary school, graduated from Carleton University. And then prior to getting into real estate, I was actually in the military, Naval Reserves.
Oh, excellent. Okay, good for you. What attracted you to real estate?
I had some family members in real estate back in Quebec and some friends. I actually wasn't really thinking about getting into it, but you know, as things progress and life takes you in different directions, and here we are now.
As promised, we're going to crunch some numbers. Yep. So let's look at like where we're at now when it comes to residential, condo. I mean, those are two different things.
Yep.
What are we seeing in the residential market right now?
So residential, if you look at year to date compared to 2023, things have slowed down a little bit.
Okay.
Things have been slowing down for quite a while. Right now, we're sitting at the average for residential is 719,000, which is a 1.6% decrease from last year.
Okay.
And condos are currently at 412,000, which is a 0.5% decrease.
Why do you think we're seeing that decrease in residential and vice versa in the condo?
Yeah, well, interest rates are definitely a big part of that, as well as, you know, the economy with inflation. Things are just, you know, people are just not sure where things are headed. So that's kind of where we're at.
What about inventory, John? What are you seeing as far as inventory goes when you compare last year's numbers to this year's numbers around this time?
So our months of inventory have increased.
Okay.
So homes are sitting on the market a little longer. Compared to this year, it's 3.6 months for residential compared to last year's, which is a 24% increase.
Okay.
And condos are currently sitting at 5 months compared to last year's, which is a 47% increase.
Do you consider this a buyer's market or a seller's market at the moment?
A good rule of thumb when going about determining what market we're in, we look at the ratio. So anywhere from 0 to 3 is a seller's market, anywhere from 3 to 5 is a balanced market, and anything 6 months or higher would be a 3 to 5 is a balanced market, and then anything higher than 6 is a buyer's market. So right now we're sitting at a balanced market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 5-year average, and I think we have to take into consideration that, you know, part of that 5 years is a pandemic, right? A global pandemic that's happened. When you look at that 5-year period, what stands out to you, John?
Residential homes have gone up quite a bit.
Yeah.
The jump is pretty good and shows you that real estate is a good investment both for condos and residential.
For first-time home buyers, they are nervous right now, right? They're looking at the interest rate. We just had the Bank of Canada announce that they're holding that 5%, right? That overnight 5%. What advice are you giving to first-time home buyers right now? Because I think for most of them, they're probably going, well, I'm going to wait it out. And do you wait? What advice would you give?
The advice that I would give is definitely take advantage of today's market. We were seeing a lot of good opportunities with prices. Some people are getting some good deals out there.
Okay.
I know people kind of want to have the blinders on with the rates, and a good saying that we use is date the rate but marry the house. But yeah, I mean, if the time is right for you, I would say go ahead with it. Don't kind of worry too much about the rates. The rates go up and down, but the prices is where you should be focused at.
Do you, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but you know, when you talk to your colleagues in the real estate business, do you foresee the interest rates going down at some point in 2024?
Yeah, so the Bank of Canada has noted that they will be doing some cuts in 2024. Some experts are saying June of 2024,
Okay.
others are saying as early as 2 months. So going to the spring market, if that happens, we're going to see a flood of buyers get into the market. So you're going to see a lot more competition. That's why, again, if somebody's looking to buy a house now, you're looking at no competition, chance to put in conditions in the offers, with, again, taking advantage of low prices.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up conditions, right? Because during the pandemic, it was just it had gone crazy, right? Like people were like, no inspection, you know, sight unseen, that kind of thing. Are we back to sort of a normal buying period now where people are getting, you know, spending that money on the inspection and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. And I push for that with my clients, is that we you know, doing an inspection is the benefit to the buyer. You know, just dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
For sure, because, you know, sometimes you look at, oh, you know, I don't even know what inspection goes for, and on average now, let's say it's $800. When you look at something like, you know, $800 for the biggest investment you're going to make, probably not a bad idea. When you work with banks and mortgage brokers, what are they suggesting these days to your clients? Variable, fixed?
It's all going to depend on everybody's kind of situation.
Okay.
And some people want to go variable still to this day because they know that in the future things are going to come down in terms of rates. So, which, I mean, I would kind of just have the mortgage broker speak to the buyer and you know, look at their profile and see what's best for them.
John, if somebody wants to contact you and work with you, what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, best way would be email. I also have my Instagram page, Real Estate with John Haddad. Also a website, same name, as well as our newpurveyors.com, which is the team that I work with at Remax Hallmark.
Excellent. John, thanks so much.
Thank you so
really
much.
appreciate the advice today. Thank you so much. Hey, we'll be back to wrap things up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Join us for the new season of Ottawa Storytellers, right here on Rogers TV.
Before I wrap things up and get to some of the topics we talked about on today's show and events, I wanted to say a big thank you to Hope, who's on my camera right now. As you know, we're a volunteer-driven There she is. Wave, Hope. There she is. Hope's one of our fabulous high school co-op students. We're a volunteer-driven television station, so we have everybody behind the scenes outside of our director, Dave Davies, is a volunteer, and Hope's been one of our co-op students for quite a few months now, and she's just been absolutely amazing to work with. So on behalf of all of us, Hope, I'm looking over the camera here. Thank you so much. We are going to miss you so much. You've been wonderful to work with. A real pleasure. And if you're interested, make sure you get in touch with your school counselor if you want to come and do co-op with us here on Rogers TV. Very quickly, want to mention Anxiety and Pets, the Essentials at the Ottawa Humane Society. That starts March 13th. There's 3 seminars, ottawahumane.ca, and the Snowball, a cool winter's eve, Wednesday, February 28th. The early bird tickets are going on sale very soon. It's an amazing experience. Snowsuitfund.com, of course, the Snowsuit Fund being its beneficiary, a great initiative. Hope, thanks again, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time here on Daytime.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
I'm Meg, and this is Fit Finley, and we're from Fit Over 50. Join me for a new season, which is full of awesome workouts designed for adults 50 plus. Improve your motivation, your strength, and your energy. Join me for a new season of Fit Over 50 exclusively on Rogers TV.
Join us Monday to Friday on Daytime Ottawa as we showcase some of the fabulous things that are happening in your city. We'll